Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Saurabh. I am Chief Information Officer for Kentaro Systems, and I am moderator for the evening for this session. And we are going to talk about digital twin. I think we are running a bit late, so we'll just try to rush it up. So if you look at digital twin is one of the most important industry 4.0 currently available. It actually gives you insights into all the aspects of any production line or manufacturing process that you might have. Further, it allows you to have better decision making. You can use it to do a lot of automation in your production line, processes, systems, etc. And without taking any further time, I think we'll go to our esteemed panelists and speak to them. What do they think about this? And then I think we'll take it from there. So first, I'll go to Amit. And Amit, my question to you is: why do you think digital twin is vital in the current scenario, which is happening in the industry now?
Thanks, Saurabh, for that question, and I welcome everyone on the panel. I would have listed many cases or reasons to think about digital twins, but due to pandemic, the entire paradigm is shifted now, and we are forced to think more about digital technologies and transformation, and not just work from home, where we were forced to do, particularly for the manufacturing sector, right? Uh, we never imagined that the manufacturing sector will tune to aspects of work from home so quickly. Okay, there are many examples from the last year change, uh, from a typical factory operations to work from home. Apart from the physical production activities like converting raw material into semi-finish or finish product, I think every process is looked at, reviewed from a digital lens. The supply chain management, planning, scheduling were possible in work from home scenarios. Even I heard of some cases where quality control was done from a remote site. So I think all these are examples where the digital thread is becoming more and more stronger. But the major challenges posed by pandemic were more related to demand crunch and then level of profitability you will get from those limited orders. Okay, how, and most importantly, how fast you will deliver these to customers was always on the top of mind of organizations and management. Hence, I think digital twin becomes more relevant to simulate these scenarios, understand how to produce a profitable product faster without failures and delays in case of manufacturing setups. So I see strong trends of people discussing digital twins, thinking about them, and also analyzing how it will help business.
I think that's very good input, Amit. So Vineet, I think what I have seen many times is people confuse digital simulation with digital twins. Can you just maybe for the benefit of everyone, maybe tell us what is actually, do you feel is the difference between a digital simulation and digital twins?
This is for Vineet Jaiswal, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, we are two Vineets today. Okay. So I think simulation, there is nothing wrong about thinking digital twin and simulation. So I will tell you, if somebody thinks about digital twin, there are two ways a digital twin can be there. First, digital twin is a digital representation of a physical product, process, or some solution, right? So simulation is a good idea. I think digital. So what happens? Many companies I know are currently using a digital twin. So before even the physical object is made, they create a digital replica of that, so that they can do a lot of scenario building. I know few of the top end car manufacturers, right? Engine manufacturers of aircraft. They do this digital twin because based on their experience, right? They have a lot of models. They lot of, and we are not discovering it from the start, right? From scratch. So what they generally do is they create a digital twin of it and they create a physical now, right? The overall cost of building that product goes down, so that you're not wasting a lot of money on that, right? So while now coming back to your question of scenario building, right? Yes, it is used as well. So it is used for multiple things, if I really say. One is prototyping. Second, if I say it is used for condition monitoring, the first stage of it, right? A lot of digital twins are just for condition monitoring, right? Then it reaches the predictive maintenance, if you really ask me, right? Third stage of that. And then a lot of scenario building. I think that's the way I will say that these are the four aspects of digital twin, if you ask me.
Thanks, Vineet. I think that's an excellent response. Let me go to Vineet Bansal now, the other Vineet that we have on the panel. And Vineet, if you can tell us, do you think that there is enough maturity in currently which is available with digital twins? And what are your thoughts on the current challenges that exist if anybody wants to start work on digital twins in their organization?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So let me start with my company. We are the wood panel manufacturing company. So I'm seeing the best example in my company because earlier, we used to manufacture plywood, and now we are manufacturing wood panel. So wood panel is completely a kind of transformation of manufacturing process, manual manufacturing process to the automatic manufacturing process. So this is something is not possible. The automation of wood panel manufacturing is not possible without digital twin, because you should have a complete picture of the complete plant. You should have a complete replica of the plant in front of you in control rooms, so that you can control the plant sitting in a control room. So definitely digital twin is in the matured stage now and getting matured, because now, as we are moving towards automizing the manufacturing industry. So digital twin help in many ways, especially industries like us, in many ways, in the complete manufacturing process, to monitor the complete plant sitting in a control room.
Thanks, Vineet. Has it helped you in developing these anti-corona plywoods also?
Yes. So you will be seeing our ads also. Huh?
Yes, I think you guys are running ads for anti-corona plywoods, etc. So
right.
Thanks, Vineet. So let me go to Vikas with the same question. So do you think that there's enough maturity in the market for digital twins, and do you face any challenges that you see in your current role as CIO of H Energy?
Great. Thank you so much, Saurabh and panel members. I think the first thing that is to be looked at any IT solution today is just to see how is the maturity. Now, the thing is, any solution right now, if you look at, is in a evolving stage. I wouldn't disagree with what we said to some extent. But the thing is, any solution today, if you look at in the market, is always evolving. Now, from the times that we were discussing earlier as well, the digital twin as a concept did exist in times immemorial. So I think more than 10 years, 12 years back, the particular fundamentals were existing. Now, at that point in time, it was a mere replica. Then we came to something like a static twin. Then we came to something like a dynamic twin. Then we send something like an interactive, autonomous, and whatnot. So there is a stage which is always evolving. So I wouldn't I wouldn't agree to the fact that it is actually matured. Obviously, from a user perspective, from an implementation partner perspective, from a CIO perspective, from a process mapping perspective, at any stage where we are, the solution is kind of matured enough. For the simple reason, it is at that point in time that we take a decision to go by a technology, and we adopt a technology when we see some kind of a benefit in adopting it. And hence we try and see 10 steps further and 5 steps from behind. So 15, how much does it suit my requirement? And we say, yes, the technology is in a matured state. But I would say that it is still evolving with the AIs and MLs that are existing. It is evolved. But if you look at from the connected solution perspective, like our previous gentleman was talking about, and I overheard him saying there is connected processes, there are connected systems, connected people, and the connected technology. Now, we are very at a very low stage. We wouldn't even say the infant stage. We're just trying to develop something which is in a connected stage. From that perspective, if you look at the technology is very nascent, and probably it has a long way to go before it can really say, yes, I have matured, and it can be adopted across. Again, from a business perspective, you look at, from the company's perspective, from various industry perspective, you look at, I think the solutions are not very standardized. It may be that the process can be mapped, but then what requirement is there from a system organization perspective, something that is to be very company specific. Now, secondly, coming to the challenges, I think first and foremost at this point in time that I foresee as a challenge is the data that is collected on either the edge or in the cloud, which is actually a replica that is thought of from a physical asset or a process, as we said, perspective. So now I think the data, the security, the ownership of that data, and especially if this is being done by a third party, somebody has to really understand very clearly how that data has to be managed.
I think you have raised a good point, Vikas. So, so as you said, I think what you're trying to say is the maturity is, so it is not fully matured. Do you think that it is possible for CIOs or CTOs to take up such projects and define projects or budgets and take it to the boardroom? Do you think those are feasible?
See, again, sort of the thing is, the technology is adopted from a business problem resolution perspective. Now, let me just give you a very simple example of why we adopted it in the first place for our organization. H Energy is a Hirandani Group company, which is actually into energy space. Now, they basically have two parts of it. One is basically the gas delivery, which essentially says there is a gas delivery which is happening over the pipeline. And the second is the asset part. Now, asset building per se, if you look at, is the thing that has to be monitored not only during the construction, post-construction, while the delivery is happening throughout the day. Now, in these pandemic times, the issue was with less people available because of Exodus, how do you monitor that kind of a huge asset which is running cross-country? Now, you obviously can say, yes, if I have a digital twin of the entire asset or the process as such, I can actually do some kind of simulation to see if something fails, what if I can perform easily, and I can project that onto the dashboard of the management sitting in the comfort of the drawing rooms or maybe the halls of their houses. So I think that is something which has to be seen. Now, from that perspective, you look at, even if this technology is very, very nascent, it's very, very premature, it's not very kind of mature, I would say, I think solution lies in, you might not want to expose the entire asset on a third party, but I still would want to implement it, give it a buying to the board from the perspective of monitoring, creating a twin which can actually be an asset in the real sense, and it can give me a lot of understanding of what is actually going on at the site without being physically present there.
I think it's a very, very good point, that I think it solves the problem that we have currently, though it may not be the perfect. I think very, very valid point. Let me go to Jitendra. So Jitendra, what do you think is the maturity of digital twins in pharmaceutical industry, and what kind of challenges do you see in your industry at the moment?
So good evening, everyone. So maturity is never defined. Every day we are getting mature. Right, since the inception of the mankind. And with the help of AI ML, we are getting more mature. If you look into talk about that, the digital maturity, or we talk about the digital objectives, how it is being used. I mean, there are enough use cases. Let me talk about the other industry, because pharma is highly regulated, right? So if you look into that IRCTC, you have a Disha, which is a digital. If you look into that, the first lady who has been recognized as a citizen, Sophia, right? She has been declared as a citizen. So these are the object which has been built by the technology and work like a human, and that is called we have a twin. In looking into the pharmaceutical industry, basically, if you look into that, a lot of things are happening related to your digital twin. First thing as what we have implemented is our IT help desk, like Disha guide us in some of the things. Similarly, the IT help desk, a lot of call being automatically guided by the digital design driven by AL, ML. So these are the existence in our environment. In a higher note, when we look into that, when we talk about the manufacturing execution systems, MES systems, which actually talk to the machines, take the data and provide some decisions. That's purely a native which has been created within your landscape of IT-OT marriage. When we talk about the IT-OT marriage, that's data-driven, being from the machines, being generated and visualized, and that particular digital native actually enable us to take a decision for manufacturing processes. This is something which is quite stable in the in a manufacturing, especially for pharmaceutical when we talk about the MES system. Similarly, many things, if you look into that, the BFSI industry. I think BFIs is the largest benefit when you can see, you can start a bank having no man, right? You can have a n number of digital he or she, which can enable your banking. You really don't require any sort of things, because the way the banking being done today, hardly anyone go to bank. I never gone to bank and see that everything is happening digitally or a digital native what is available on that. The connect between your device, your design, all the inquiries being remotely monitored by the digital, so-called digital native sitting in your mobile is always helping you out. So which is something which is eye-opening and which is a game changer for the economic point of view, because that is the power which has reached to the villages where you really don't require any bank clerks or bank managers. And these are being a mobile native, or you say a digital native or a digital twin, which is sitting inside your mobile device or your machine device and acting as a human being, right? So this is the power. Secondly, when we talk about your IT-OT conversion, you look into that, the driver without driverless car. So actually there's a driver sitting inside the car, but which is a virtual, which is a digital. And it is exactly doing what exactly you want being programmed. So it's not that the driver is not there. There is a driver, which is a digital driver. And he's driving your car based on the AL, ML, which has been put into the direction by geo mapping or so-called. So many technology is harmonizing the technology in a way where you see that the digitals are becoming as a human being and they are working as a digital natives. These are the very proven example. And I see that's the game changer when really I am talking about you. I am actually exploring a vCISO. That's a visual CISO. Is a virtual CISO who is going to look into all the aspect of my compliance and regulatory and giving back me a feedback, where is the gap and which area I need to improve upon. So these are visual twins, visual CISO, giving me the feed of synchronizing the data and giving me the right direction. And that is all about that. If you look into that, the advanced analytics, when we talk about the advanced analytics, it is nothing. The person who was doing the data pull from different systems and doing the data massaging and giving you some decision, data-enabled decisions, which is now being transferred the controls to automate these processes. So these are the digital native which has been placed into the system and they are working as a human natives. That's the big transformation happening in the industry. And I see that in future, really don't know, it's a very scary to say that there will be a digital CIO in future, which will be a digital native. My CFO will ask that.
So you are planning to eat up all of our jobs, is it?
It's not. You see that sort of the drivers are on mistake. The postmaster has gone. The post delivery has gone. But I'm not saying the new technology will create a new opportunity for the world.
Sure.
No, I think what we will do is we'll create a virtual CFO and the CIOs will remain.
It is there, because it is there. It is there virtual. See, there is a, the Watson, IBM Watson, it works like a digital sort of advocates where you can put digital medicines being dispensed in ATMs. That's the future.
I think, Jitin, I think what you said makes sense. I think we were lucky that we got married to physical females, and now somebody will start dating virtual Sophia or getting married to virtual Sophia and all.
Sir, अभी बोलना तो
never
दीजिए,
know all those things.
Sir, ये digital available है, अभी ये digital, I don't want to go into that, but you can experience the digital.
I think we should not get into that. Okay, so let's go to the next question.
Right.
So I think what we want to do is, I thought if you guys can actually take up a example in your respective organization, current or previous one, and actually explain it to us how it has been done, that will be really helpful. So I'll start with Amit. Maybe Amit, if you can take up any example of digital twin in your present organization or the past, how you actually took it up and how it solved the problem. I think that will be really helpful.
Okay, I will be limited in terms of the specifics, but when it comes to factories, the digital factories, the most critical part is how do I know the behavior of the entire system, starting from demand, then supplies reaching to my factories. Can I ask the digital twin model that how much would be the production? And if something goes wrong, because there is also probability that my paint booth might fail. There might be some issues based on the historical data. And that in case of those crucial last 5-6 days of a month, I just want to predict. I just want to understand what can go wrong. And if it goes wrong, and I have say 5-6 options to take care of the situation, what would be the best option? Because in physical world, I cannot have 3 options running simultaneously, but in virtual world I can run the model, run the digital twin to give me the best solution. I think this is something which is possible. I have tried it on my own. It's not just a simulation, but it also takes the real-time data, puts it in the digital twin models, and will work on a lot of what-if scenarios. So I have myself modeled these kind of digital twins. So that's one area which I have seen and which gives huge benefit to the end users, particularly the management, to take right decisions at right time. So I think the performance and the quality, that is something which is used basically for understanding the models, building the models to predict these things and see how it can be benefited. That's one area which I have seen getting used.
So you are primarily using it for prediction.
Yeah.
So let me go to Vineet Jaiswal. Where are you using Vineet?
Yeah. Okay, Sara, what's the question?
So where are you using digital twin in your current organization at the moment?
Multiple places.
So if you can highlight maybe one or two, which
couple of them, right? I will take examples in multiple scenarios, right? There are digital twins, mostly like all of us are talking about manufacturing. That's a very, very common way. Everyone understands that, right? Because it gives the entire visibility of the process. And so one of the things which has moved up in the previous, right, example, which I think Vikas was touching on, right? It has been from years, right? It is more of 2D, a simple SCADA screen, which will give you a small picture of the whole scenario, right? But it is now connected multiple SCADAs, right? HMIs, all the data getting connected. So for manufacturing, we have been doing, because there is a lot of benefit on that, right? But beyond manufacturing and logistics, getting the entire supply chain visibility, right? So converting the physical thing in the digital format and predicting when it is going to reach, right? What is the impact of that is a very, very important thing in our industry, right? Both all the 3 industry which I'm talking about, right? Cement, steel, or energy, right? Because we get a lot of raw material, right? Even the FG delivery and all that. So this is another, right? Digital twin of our the entire process, the sales and marketing process, right? Getting the visibility to our customers. So that's why I said it is not just the physical object, right? There are a lot of processes and services which also we can create a digital twin of. So multiple places, lot of them on manufacturing using AI, IoT, and all that drone data and all that, right? But apart from that, in logistics and sales and marketing are the two important areas which I see, right? We will also explore a lot in finance. That's my vision, and we'll see where we'll get there.
I think that's very helpful. So you're using it for prediction as well as process engineering or process review.
All prediction, right. Prototyping, okay. Right? All the 4 scenarios I talked about, we have used it for all 4 of them.
Perfect. Let me go to Vikas with the same question. Vikas, where all you are using digital twins in your current or previous organization?
Yeah, so Saurabh, right now we are using it primarily for our asset traceability, which is asset tracking and asset monitoring kind of a scenario, which is actually to do with how we are going to do it on a remote basis, whether we will be able to monitor all our assets, and can we really perform a what if kind of a scenario, or maybe something like some kind of system understanding if a particular asset is going over a right of use land, and that particular asset happens to be impacted by either an earthquake or something like that, what is the kind of impact that is going to create to my entire pipeline? How is it that I'm going to really contain that kind of a damage? Now, if we simply look at in our case, it is right now some 500, 600 kilometers of a pipeline. But suppose it is cross country between here and Calcutta, or maybe Calcutta and say Kanyakumari type of a scenario. The geographical conditions, the weather conditions keep changing every 300 kilometers. That's what Met says. Now, if in that scenario, there is a pipeline or an asset running over this kind of a land frame, now, if there is if there is this kind of a gale or a storm at a particular specific place, and if we were to predict the kind of a damage, something can really be minimized, something can be really worked upon with these kind of digital twins, is something that we want to graduate to. Right now, we have been using it only for a specific purpose, but I'm sure this will just take over a larger domain.
Sure, sounds good, man. Vineet Bansal, can you explain us where? I mean, if you can give us 1 or 2 examples in your industry.
So I think I have already touched for my industry. So we are using digital twin in the manufacturing process of wood panels, like from from the raw wood to chipping to the producing fibers and gluing, and then complete production line. And after once the raw material is raw wood is raw panel is produced, after that picking up the raw panels and putting and putting in the warehouse. So that is also done by the robots. That is also not manual. And after that, till the loading of trucks. So it is all done through the completely, digitally controlled from a control room. So this is, I think, one of the example, and we are means in the automation of this wood panel manufacturing process, we are completely using this technology.
So are you primarily using it for tracking of manufacturing process or optimization? So are you using that data for optimization, or you just use it for tracking purpose?
So this is the optimization point of view as well.
Okay, sounds good. Jitendra, I mean, if you can give us 1 or 2 examples of digital twin where you have used it in the past or your present company.
Sure. I think I'm talking is about the RPA processes, robotic automation processes. So I and across my organization network, we have got around 50 guys, those who are doing the bill booking.
Okay.
And I'm talking about India and out of India. around 50 guys, those who are doing the bill booking across Alembic factories and R&Ds and all. After doing this RPA processes in place, I think out of 50% has gone. So 50% digital RPA sitting inside the accounts. And the process, the speed, the accuracy, the compliance has gone 100% up. With a workflow sort of a thing where everybody is accounted. At the time of my GR, I can see the overall liability, whatever been booked. I'm not actually accounting the bill or invoicing to come, but at the time of GR, my sort of a liability is booked where I can have a transparency of what is my liability being booked. As per the payment term, it goes automatically to the vendors or the service providers. So there is no human intervention. While this complete processes, there are three-way matches, there are compliances, regulatory, everything is synced and all this been integrated with our SAP applications. So this project we have done, we have completed, and we see this is one of the best projects what we did from last 1 year, whereas 25 guys has been used for different purpose. Now my analytics, everything sits on that, which has not only enhanced the user customer experience, speed up the processes, same time actually maintaining the compliance and the regulators.
That's good. I think we have already exceeded its time. So what I want is if you can just give us maybe 2 lines, let's say, so there are multiple people, head ITs, manager ITs, who are looking at implementing digital twin solutions or technologies in their organization. So what will you say to them in, let's say, in 2 or 3 lines? So how should they proceed in taking it up? I'll start with Amit.
Yeah, so if I want to just give it short, I think all we know that this is more about the internal process. It is not a customer facing process which can be copied. There is a lot of competitive advantage. So you have to look at your process. I'll simply give example of our typical PDCA cycle. Okay, just follow that. Plan your digital strategy, digital threads first. Build the models, deploy those models, use them for near future predictions, validate your models with real-time scenarios, and then refine your models with latest technologies. You can add ML, AIs, big data analytics, and you can make them more and more accurate and also realistic. I think that's the mantra. But the last thing which is very important is never forget to list down your benefits beforehand, because there has to be a business case and value. Otherwise, it would become just a monument of a technology stack.
Okay, I think very valid point, Amit. Vineet Jaiswal, I'll go to you with the same question.
Yeah. So my only advice is that don't look for a perfect solution first time. Okay, always have a growth mindset. I think I always say that to my team. Have a growth mindset. That's the most important thing, and product mindset. Growth and product mindset. So if you start working on your digital twins with these 2 things aligned, I'm sure you will be successful. So these are the 2 most important things if you start thinking about your digital twins.
Vikas, you have to unmute yourself. You are muted.
So I would say that the only thing that is required in the first place is plan just why it is required. So it has to be driven from a strategy perspective than just an execution. As Amit very rightly said, there is no right or wrong in this. It has to be driven by a strategy, and it has to be need of the hour. So you just cannot say, oh, everybody is doing, so let's do it, and we got to do it. So the thing is, obviously there is a need for everyone to understand. Yes, the solution is on a maturity scale of 0 to say 10. It is about 4, 5, whatever, depending on the industry where it is getting adopted. But the fact of the matter is, we got to understand whether this is required by us. Something like digital, which is ubiquitous and which is like pervasive everywhere. It's not. This is not something that can be really done. It's something which is to be done with an internal processes. How good we want to be with our internal processes, how good we want our deliveries to be, how customers are going to get benefited. All of these have to be sewed in properly in a garland and then see whether it's beneficial to us.
Okay, so let me go to Vineet Bansal with the same question.
Yeah, I think Vikas rightly said the solutions means there is a lot of scope in every industry for this technology, but we have to first align the business with the technology. Means like, business should be aligned with the technology, and the demand of technology should come from the business, and it should match actually uh, with the business requirement.
Jitendra?
I think all the panelists said a very valid, but on the same line, I mean, first be a business person rather than a technology person. First, you understand yourself and don't try to lead the technology drive. Let the business drive the technology. Being a champion, you have got a change management and whatever you can influence the technology. But if we start driving the technology, it's not going to work. Let business drive the technology. Be a change agent, be a change catalyst of that. Let business drive the technology, and that is how I see that experience from my side is working perfectly. I never drive technology. I always ask business leaders to come and sit in the car and drive. I always try to push car from the outside.
Very good. So let me summarize all the points. I think we spoke about that if you are looking at a digital twin, you have to have a ROI model. So you should be able to relate your expenses with what kind of returns you are going to get. Vineet spoke about having a growth mindset. Don't look at everything. Start small and then do prototyping and then take it big. We spoke about strategy. Have a proper strategy when you look at digital twins. I think that's about it, guys. Anything else anybody wants to add? Okay. I think that's about it from our side, Nikita.